We are back. A new season, a new format, and a brand new set. Same old host, though. Can't have everything. At least I got dressed up for the occasion.
And now, the aggregator of awesome, the curator of cool, my dad, your friendly neighborhood Jaman.
Welcome to your friendly neighborhood J-Man's almost internet famous internet show. I am your friendly neighborhood J-Man. For the kickoff of our second season, we've got a great show on tap for you. All the other shows the rest of this season, well, they pretty much are gonna blow. But this one, this one's gonna be the shit. We've got a review of Disney Infinity 2.0 coming up right after the headlines. Yeah, that's right. We've got geek news for you. Believe you me, if this sucks, you will never see it again. Punch it, Chewie! DC Comics recently announced they'll be publishing a very special issue of Harley Quinn. No, they won't be examining the effects of stolen naked selfies and how the internet ruins lives in this very special issue. Sorry. This is a scratch and sniff issue. That is not a joke, folks, either. I'm for real. Harley Quinn Annual #1 will be a scratch and sniff issue. Let me tell you something. This is so wrong on so many levels, especially considering that it's Harley Quinn we're talking about here. I mean, come on. There are so many innuendos I'm avoiding at this very moment because this is supposed to be a quasi-family show. BleedingCool.com is reporting there'll be 2 versions of the annual, one for US consumption and the one for everyone else. Why the difference? Well, the US version is said to have a scratch and sniff that smells like pot. Not that pot. That pot. The international version will smell like cut grass. Real grass, not the other aforementioned grass. Why the difference? I have no idea. Probably to keep international drug-sniffing dogs from going nuts when these books hit the overseas. Who knows, though? Either way, you can bet your sweet ass I'll be picking up the US version. Because why?
Marketing works on him.
That's right.
Bang.
A veritable shitstorm of controversy broke out on the internet's surprise this week when Denise Dorman, wife to comic book artist Dave Dorman, published an article on her blog lamenting the decrease in her husband's sales of artwork at conventions. The cause of all the hubbub? Denise seemingly calling out cosplayers as part of the reason for the decrease in sales. Now look, I've read and heard from any number of vendors over the last few years that the cost of participating in conventions is not worth the payoff for said participation anymore. And while at times cosplaying can be a bit of a nuisance, especially when trying to navigate a very congested con floor, it's definitely not what's at the heart of the problem. Rather, I'd like to suggest here one of the bigger culprits is the increase in price in both admission and vendor space at these cons. The other culprit in this decline of sales? The complete and utter infiltration of other media into what used to be exclusively a comic book convention. Let's face it, the big cons aren't about comics anymore. You know it, and I know it. They're about movies, TV shows, and video games. And the sad fact is, the fans of those media probably don't care as much about comic artists and writers as much as comic readers do. Combine that with the overinflated admission prices, and your average comic book fan is left in the dust. But the fuck do I know? I'm standing alone in the middle of my garage talking to a camera. That wasn't the only thing that had the internets going batshit crazy this week. DC Comics contributed to the madness with the last page of Superman Doomed #2. A lot of 2's here. Now, I'm about to show the last page, so if you haven't seen it yet, shield your eyes. Oh, shit, not that one. The other one. Yeah, that's it. We got some crazy shit going on here. We're talking pre-New 52 crazy shit. You got Superman in red trunks, Marv Wolfman era Teen Titans, Legion of Superheroes. I couldn't even tell you what universe all this stuff fits into anymore. Pre-crisis, post-crisis, crisis! What does any of this mean? Man, I could speculate all the livelong day, and I considered it too. But the truth is, my speculation is 10 to 1 far cooler than whatever's coming down the pike. So, I'm sparing myself this exercise in futility. And speaking of agony in the multiverse, it kind of sounds like a soap opera, doesn't it?
The agony and the multiverse.
BleedingCool.com posted an article annotating Grant Morrison's latest book, The Multiversity, the Society of Superheroes, Conquerors of the Counterworld, #1. First of all, god damn if that isn't a mouthful of a title. But besides that, when you need an annotation to understand a comic book, there's something very wrong. I don't know about you guys and gals, but when I read a comic, too many words tends to make my eyes a bit hurty. The point of a comic is to use pictures to tell the story, am I right? If I wanted to read words, I'd read a novel. So to need an annotation for a comic book, I'd say someone didn't read their job description properly. Look, I'm so flippin' afraid that Morrison is just gonna fuck the whole thing up with his highfalutin Inception borrowing work. Please, Grant, don't do this to me. Don't fuck up the multiverse. We'll be right back.
Nishin Iro yatteけどNishin一つも説明できない日清
今必要な会社日清坊。
Welcome back. Earlier last week, Disney Interactive unleashed Disney Infinity 2.0 upon our unsuspecting planet. Of course, that is complete and utter bullshit on my part. We all knew it was coming out. They've been teasing the shit out of this thing with all those beautiful screenshots for months now. Disney Infinity is what we in the biz call a sandbox adventure game, where physical toys, in this case figurines, open all kinds of world-creating, story-driven gameplay. Each figurine has some sort of magic in them, so when you put them on the Infinity base, all kinds of crazy shit happens on your TV screen. Clearly, I'm trying not to get too technical for you here. I know you're layman. I really wish I had some real-life gameplay footage for you, but I didn't buy the game. See, I'm not what you call a gamer. Games and me, ho, we do not get along. First of all, I'm old and I'm slow. On top of that, there are just too many buttons on controllers these days. Back in my day, we had a joystick with a button. A button, as in one. Not 50 million that actually do 3 different things at once. I did, however, buy some of the figurines. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what kind of person only buys the figurines and not the game itself? Who does such a thing? That's right. I told you I wasn't a gamer, but I sure am a toy collector. And by the way, these things are not figures. They're figurines. Figures have some moving parts. Figurines do not. And these guys, unfortunately, do not have any moving parts. But no matter what you call them, they are still fucking cool. At $14 a pop, though, they're a bit on the pricey side. Especially since they're not going to do anything for me but collect dust. So, when the game and the figurines were released back on September 22, I knew I was going to have to choose wisely. The initial assortment included your standards: Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, most of the rest of the Avengers, and the cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I ended up getting Cap, Hawkeye, and Venom. I was on the fence about Groot, because Groot is really cool, but like I said, I had to choose wisely. Regardless, the figures are stylized versions of the Marvel characters. The sculpting is nice, especially with said Venom figure. The colors are vibrant, the poses are heroic. They're just a bunch of fun-looking figurines. The only other thing that is a little off-putting about the figurines is that they look like the arms are really supposed to move. It's probably just how they're constructed, but if you look at Venom's arms, you can see it plain as day. They're separate pieces. It even looks like Venom might have been able to twist at the waist. I admit, when I opened him, I did try to move his arms. No go, my friends. No go. So, bottom line, is it actually worth it for the non-gamer to pick up these figurines? I can easily sum that up in one word. Hells yeah. Do I wish they were a little bit more articulate? Yeah. Am I going to pick up the rest of them? You know it like hot meat, dog. Is there something wrong with me? My mommy says no. And that, my friends, is all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank myself for putting all this shit together. If you're a fan of laughing and good times, I strongly suggest you head on over to my website, yfnjman.com. I'm also on all your favorite social media. I'm on the Twitter, I'm on the Facebook, and I'm even on the Google+. All you gotta do is search. Don't forget to check me out every Monday on the Fanboy Factor podcast at fanboyfactor.com. Until next time, I remain... Please, Grant, don't. I can't believe I fucked that up.